right, welcome to the Glory Boys podcast, where we're here to help you think better, whether you're a creator, an entrepreneur, just getting started in your journey, or you've been doing it for a few years and want to think bigger. This podcast is for you. I'm one of your hosts, Austin.
I'm Darren.
And I'm Trev. If you are watching on YouTube, hit the like button, which you should be because the studio is crazy. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to the audio versions, we'd love if you left us a rating. It really helps us get the word out, reach more people, and hopefully add more value to people.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. We're super pumped that you're here. Today, we're joined by one of our favorite people in the whole world. He's a dear friend, sports content icon, and an amazing man of God, and his name is Levi Ventura.
Levi!
Yeah, it's going to be a really great pod. This is going to be jam-packed with all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah. You can't miss it. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss out.
Thanks for being on, Levi. How you doing?
Hey, guys. You guys didn't give what's her face an intro? Or the
Lola.
I forget her name. Lola.
Oh, Lola.
Of course.
Come on, Trev.
So sorry.
She's right there.
This is our dear assistant, Lola. If you can see her on this couch.
Office dog.
The office dog.
So cute.
She's Darren and Mariah's beautiful pup, and she joins us every now and again.
Yeah.
She has a rough life.
She's a real special guest.
She's a special guest.
She doesn't say much, but, you know.
No, she's kind of quiet. She does add vibes, though.
Vibes. Well, thanks for being on, Levi. We appreciate your time and can't wait to dive in and hear about what you've been up to and all of the things. Obviously, you've been on our podcast before. If you're just tuning in, if you're a new listener to the podcast, be sure to go back after this episode and check out our previous episode with Levi. Tons of fire, and it's really cool just to see the journey that you've been brought on since that point. I mean, I think that was like, what, a year and a half ago? 2 years ago, maybe now?
Maybe 2 years.
And so a lot has happened in 2 years, and a lot of change.
Is that
and,
really 2 years?
I think so. I mean,
yeah, because it was in the very beginning of us moving into that. So it's over 2 years for sure.
Yeah.
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 Time flies, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, we'll link that episode in the description because I think that'd be sick to go back and listen and see all the amazing things that you've done since then.
Yeah, I mean, talk about thinking bigger. It's literally like example A of like, he was on the pod 2.5 years ago, and just like seeing what has happened over those last 2 years, I think will be really inspiring to any of you listening that have not checked out that episode. So yeah, we're honored to have you, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Miss you guys.
We miss you too.
Yeah.
We wish you were here, but you're not here. So tell everybody where you are.
I'm in Philadelphia, PA. I think I mentioned that the last episode. I think that was around when I was working on moving here.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I've been here almost 2 years now.
Wow.
That's crazy. It'll be 2 years in July.
Wow.
That is crazy. So how have you adjusted from life in Omaha / Lincoln to life in Philadelphia?
I'm a little angrier now, you know what I mean? I'm a little tougher now. I don't take crap for anybody on the roads, you know.
Yeah.
I'm walking here. No, I'm playing. But no, it's I miss the good life for sure. I always talk about it. So like Jordan Burroughs, you guys know he also lived in Nebraska. We talk about it all the time. We're like sitting in traffic and we're like just look at each other like, I miss Nebraska.
Yeah.
I really do. But Philly's been nice though. There's a lot of culture, a lot of different things to shoot, a lot of different places. The location is great because I've been to New York, I don't know, more times than I ever thought I'd be because it's just a train away.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that I don't know. It's been great here so far.
Yeah, so just for our listeners, and obviously we're friends and we've known each other for many years now, and being Nebraska homies, just share a little bit about like your journey, kind of what you do, why you do it, and what you're doing today.
So I focus a lot on social media content for wrestling, Jordan Burroughs, wrestling for him.
Yep.
Some boxing now since we last talked for Bud Crawford and another guy, Shakur Stevenson. And that's the main bits, and then like just some freelance stuff that I can get my hands on here in Philly. But my main gig is wrestling content, combat sports. It's still getting narrowed down, but it's getting narrowed down way more since I last talked to you guys. Like I
Yeah.
do everything. Now it's been a lot of wrestling, a lot of people punching each other, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny. So what is, I mean, that you mentioned some pretty big names in that space. What is your day to day, or do you even have a typical day to day, just between like training and events and things like that? It is, from my perspective, it is uniquely always this like wrestling or fighting or some sort of combat. Um, but even in the midst of that specificity, it seems like you're just doing a million things all the time. So what is like your day to day? What do you wake up and you're like, all right, we got this to do today? What does that look like for you?
It's so random. That's the one thing. Like I think this is my first like 2-ish years of really doing freelance outside of student life. So student life was nice because I was grounded all the time. I always had a schedule, but now it's like whatever comes up in my day. So I always try to keep my Google Calendar like very handy because then if I don't, I just don't have any control over what I do. But most of the time it's pretty empty. Like these guys, it's weird. They do like camps. So it's like really hard and intensive for like maybe 6 weeks and then like nothing else after or before that.
Mm.
But usually for like a camp, these guys go at it a lot. So maybe like 10 a.m. practice, rest, and then 4 p.m. practice, rest. So it's like it's kind of just like ongoing for like I said, maybe about 6 weeks straight of like just nonstop. Like this next one, Terence Crawford will have another fight August 3rd, and I'll probably head out to his camp. I don't know, end of May, early June. I just had everything listed. I'll be like bouncing back and forth, like Vegas, Colorado Springs, and stuff like that. But these guys, when they're locked in, it's hard for me not to be locked in as well, like filming wise, photo wise, because when you see the work they put in, it's incredible. Like I try to wake up like around 6, like around when they do, which I normally do not. Today I think I woke up like 9, but it's like it's kind of getting into that same mindset as their whole team, like eat, sleep together, train together. My training is, taking pictures of them, but I do count it as training because the last fight last July, it was my first real fight ever to really photograph like fight night. But all the hours of being in the gym really paid off because I was practicing while they were practicing, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, that makes a ton of
that's
sense.
typically it.
That's great.
Yeah, so is the expectation just that like when they're on, you're on, like you just go to everything that they go to, and you're just capturing the content of everything? Like is there any check-in with them? Hey, what are the goals for the day? What do you want? Or is it just kind of an understood like they're going to do their thing and you're going to document it the best you can?
Yeah, it's kind of that second part to when people hire me for these kinds of things, it's like there's like no communication almost, which at first I was like, no one's telling me anything, but I'm like,
Right.
it's because they know what I'm gonna do. They know what I can bring to the table and just like don't overthink it. So that's the biggest part of it now is just like trusting that the clients know what I can do and just do that. Don't overthink, don't doubt myself too much about everything. I still try to ask here and there, but most of the time they say like, do your thing. I'm like, all right, but what else? What else do you
Yeah.
what else do you want? But most of the time it's to do your thing, and it's nice because it allows me full creative freedom as well as with Jordan Burroughs, the wrestling side too. I just have so much creative freedom to where we can like shake up the scene in terms of content for these guys that no one really does in this space. So
Yeah,
I love that.
that's cool. That the level of trust that you have to be able to do that is pretty incredible. And I'm curious, like, what would you say was the primary like X factor? Because these people are world class athletes and they chose you, and trust you and really to without any communication, like they're trusting you with their personal brands, their social media profiles. And so what would you say like is your biggest strength that like helped you to absolutely crush that and continue to crush those expectations?
Yeah.
Brother, I'm still trying to figure it out. Anytime I'm around them, like I always think to myself, I'm like, why'd you guys pick me in the first place? I don't know. I've always been good at making friends. I feel like I'm always personable, and that's the biggest part of it. And it was something you guys taught me many moons ago, when you guys still shot weddings and I helped you guys shoot weddings. It was just serve others. Like it's you guys taught me that. I know we're artists. A lot of artists kind of maybe they'll develop big egos because we're artists, but you guys were like, take it down a notch. We're basically servers, like it's an act of service, not as well as we're making art, but at the end of the day, we have clients to, make happy and stuff like that. And that was the biggest thing that I've really brought on even till now. It's like, how can I serve these guys and not myself?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess some likes and some clout for sure for like some cool videos and photos, but at the end of the day, everything I do will be for them specifically, not for me. I get a little bit of the glory, but it's for them in the end of it.
Yeah, that's amazing, bro. I love that. I love your heart in that, and that's cool that we got to implant just a little bit of the culture that we still carry today in this company, and serving others is literally one of our core values, and so that's really, really cool. I have a thought.
Never left me, bro.
Yeah, dude, I love it. So one of my thoughts is obviously, you're filming and shooting essentially a dream client. And so how did you really get to that space? Like, how did you get the opportunity to like, click your camera in the same room as some of these really incredible people? You didn't just like Google, their phone number. Like, how did that happen? And just kind of walk through just kind of some of the journey, because I'm just really curious.
A lot of it is just serendipity. I've always felt like I've always watched these kinds of things like combat sports in general.
Sure.
Like my favorite movie growing up was Rocky. I loved all the Rocky movies. I've always loved sports movies and like the montages that they always have in there.
Yeah.
So I've always had that like ingrained inside of me, and I never knew what to do with it. Like, you guys knew me for a little bit. I was taking pictures, photos of everything, doing whatever I could just to get my hands on it. And then now that I'm in like the sports space, it feels right. You know what I mean? I'm like, like I don't have to overthink on what I want it to look like, because I've been consuming this media since I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And now everything just clicks. Yeah, but especially for the boxing side, I don't know. It's a beautiful thing it's a beautiful thing to finally find that niche, because I was looking for it for so long.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I have a question. Sorry, Trev.
That's okay. Go ahead.
So I think that I love the humility that you carry. I love just the constant desire to learn and to give your all. But I think there's people out there, and we kind of touched on this in the last episode, of just kind of growing complacent or really not continuing to strive to grow as a creative. How do you, in something that could be considered like, you're doing the same thing all the time. Like people are how many different ways can somebody punch another guy, like in that space of finding your niche and doing really one thing primarily, how do you continue to be creative and be inspired and grow every single day?
I hit a huge slump earlier this year, like a couple months ago. It was bad, dude. I kind of just stopped, because like a lot of this is like very consistent for social media. So like one reel a week or two reels a week, photos, stuff like that. So like you said, it can get very, very repetitive. And yeah, I went through a slump where I just stopped making reels. I just sent in photos because the reels weren't, first of all, the algorithm still sucks. So that's very disheartening sometimes.
Yep.
But, and then, like when the reels don't do well, And I'm like, oh, I put in like 8 hours of work in it. I'm like, then what's the point? So I just stopped making reels for Jordan this last couple months.
Hmm.
And I was just like stockpiling cool footage, just waiting for inspiration. I think that's where it can kind of comes to anyway. Sometimes you can force it as much as you want, but if it's not there, it's not there. And that's what I was doing. I was just forcing something to come up. And then one day, Jordan sent me a video from Stephon Diggs, and it was like a video football highlight of a workout. And he was like, "This is cool." I was like, "Yes, that's cool. You guys got to look it up sometime." But then I made my own version of it. I think it's probably like the best video I've made from maybe ever. It was
Wow.
like a minute and a half ish, but everything came together. Like I was like, finally, I was like able to shake off the rust or whatever. I'm like, this is it. This is like the standard that's gonna be put on for like the next year or two.
Sick.
Yeah.
Dude, so I'm just thinking through. So when you hit a slump like that, is Jordan like, hey, can we be making this? Or like, I know we talked about the communication between like what you're gonna capture when they go train and stuff, but is there any like, hey, I'd like to see more of this, or hey, let's try this. Is there any of that from these athletes, or is that also all just you, experimenting and trying new things and kind of deciding what the strategy is going to be and what you're going to deliver?
There's a little bit of it for sure, because I mean, these guys are tapped into the culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's a lot that they see and they hear that they would want to get incorporated.
Yeah.
Like with Jordan, that one, he follows Stephon Diggs because he was on Buffalo. What are they called? Buffalo Bills,
yeah.
the football team. But he was on there. He just got traded, but that's his favorite football team, so he's always followed him.
Okay.
And when that video dropped, he sent it to me like right away. It was like 30 minutes of being posted.
Wow.
And yeah, all he said I think was like, "Oh, this is cool." But I got the
Yeah.
message. I was
Yeah,
like, "All right,
exactly.
I was like, all
Yeah.
right, all right."
Challenge
Thanks,
accepted.
but that I'm open to stuff like that, especially at that time where, like I said, I was in a slump. I
Yeah.
was just making like the same kind of type of reels. But when I made that, he was like, "Yeah, this is the one." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes!" It's like, "You're
Dude.
right. This is the one." But even for Terence, his biggest thing is music. Like he has a giant collage of music. He has different styles and tastes. So that's the biggest one that I'm always like, hey, like what song like do you want me to use this week or something like that? And it opened my world into like whole different songs and artists and stuff that I never listened to. But that's the biggest thing. That's the main part of it too. Is like I can make the stuff I want to make all the time, but if I don't actively look at what these guys like visually or what they listen to, it's just like a video for me.
Yeah, for
You know what I
sure.
mean?
That's a great
Especially
point.
on the music end, because like my
Yeah.
music taste is different from theirs. So
Yeah.
that's the key part.
Well,
Yeah.
it's cool too because when you're working with the best pound for pound boxer in the world, you can use just about any song you want. You don't have to
Yeah.
probably worry about copyright and
Not-
things like
not
that. I
really.
mean,
Right.
these artists are probably like hyped that you're using their song
Oh,
on
yeah.
a reel for Terence Crawford. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned something that I think as creators sometimes we don't want to do, and that's like pull inspiration from other people because we feel like copycats. I know I've been personally in that boat before, but I think finding other people that inspire you is so important.
Or people that are doing it better than you.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
And so like, yeah, just taking that Buffalo Bills video, which I haven't seen, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I need to see it.
And then I want to see the one that you made.
Yeah.
But just taking bits of inspiration from people and then putting your own spin on it and using it to tell a completely different story or whatever.
Yep.
But I think that's such an important piece of this is like just continuing to be inspired by the wealth of people out there just doing really, really cool things.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing that you said in that whole thing was you were in a rut and you needed something to kind of help shake the dust off or rust off, whatever you said. And that video kind of sparked something inside of you. And you could have done one of two things. You could have got discouraged because someone made a really sick video that you hadn't made. You could have been like, well, I can't make that, or I'm not able to do that. Or you did the latter of the two, and you took it and you got inspired and you went after something and created, and I quote, the best video I've ever made. So, I mean, that's just something really cool to say that says about your character is obviously you're resilient and passionate, but the fact that you could see something that was done really well and then go and create one of the best things you ever made is really awesome. And that's a huge encouragement to people out there that are listening, is if you're stuck or in a rut, when you're creative, it's inevitable. We get in ruts all the time creatively, for photography, for video, for what to post on social, to how to create stuff, how to do this podcast, what to hang on the freaking walls. Like, dude, it literally, like, it's never ending. And that's just it's a part of being creative. But you have two choices to make. You can make the one where you can get overwhelmed and stop doing what you're passionate and you love, or you can use other people that are doing things better than you to be inspired to create and kind of go outside of the box, so to speak. So I love that you did that, and yeah, super stoked to see that video.
Yeah, I just forwarded it to you guys, but don't get me wrong. When I first saw it, I was like, damn. I was like, why'd he even hire me, bro? If there's people like this, if there's people out this making stuff like this out there, I'm like, and then I watched it a second and a third time. I watched it like 10 times.
Yeah.
I just like breaking it down. I'm like, okay. Like, first of all, like the music was cool. The sound effects and transitions was like, it caught me really good. I was like, oh, this is high level. And then if you just break it down, you're like, oh, that's like a normal whoosh. It's like, there's nothing, that's a normal riser effect. Like there's nothing like extraordinary. I mean, it was a really good video, but there's nothing like super, super mind blowing about it once you break down the little pieces. But I think you guys will agree it's a really good video once you guys see it. But yeah. Don't overthink it.
Well, and just imagine what budget the Buffalo Bills had to create that video.
Unlimited.
Like, it's just
now it was I don't know, I forget his name, but it was like a guy similar to me.
Okay.
It wasn't the Bills. It was like a guy. So that's why
got it.
That's why I kind of hurt even more in the beginning when I saw it, because it was Stephon Diggs' personal photo and video guy.
Okay.
So I was like, damn. I was like, yeah. Because I got one up, but like he said, like, for a little bit, I felt like defeated.
It was a personal attack.
Oh, this is inspiration. Yeah. Ever since I followed the guy, I think his name is No Cap Visions. His work is phenomenal, and I'm just always inspired. But that's like a double-edged sword, though. Sometimes I look at other people's work and I just want to quit.
Yeah.
And I don't get inspired. But this one,
we talked about that in our last episode as well, and I think that's what separates the people who think bigger from the people who just kind of curl up in a ball and decide that they don't want to try anymore, because it can be discouraging. And that's the decision you have to make of like, am I going to let this piece of content inspire me to be better, or am I going to let this show me that I should just accept mediocrity? And so obviously that's not the type of person that you are. If it was, then you wouldn't be on this podcast. So that's awesome. Super inspiring. I see on here, and I didn't know this, but did you get to meet Michael B. Jordan?
Oh, bro, I did. Bro,
he's tell us about it.
He is handsome, dude.
Bro, he's handsome, dude.
He's
shorter than
he's
I
a whole
thought he
snack
could be,
for sure.
I'd kiss him on the cheek for sure.
I don't know why. In my head, like these movie stars, I thought he was like 6'5" or something.
Well, that's why that's how they shoot the movies, dude. They gotta make him.
Right. Is he not 6'5"?
He was like 6'1".
Okay.
But I wasn't like looking at him like this.
Right.
Maybe it's because I'm expecting like basketball players and stuff like that.
Sure.
You always gotta look up to him.
Right.
But he was cool. He was cool. I didn't talk to him too much. That's the hardest part. Is like not freaking out.
Yeah, you don't want to be weird.
When he walked in, I just wanted to be like, hey, bro, can I get your autograph? Can I get a picture? But I was working, so I was like, all right, I gotta calm down. I'll take pictures of him. I think that's just about as far as I can go with that. But just a couple snaps. But I also met Eminem.
Yeah, dude,
bro. That because like I had to film Terence meeting him for the first time, and it was like super private in a hotel room. And then Terence's like manager agent, he was like, "M's coming in, start recording in about 5 minutes." And when he came in, I was literally like,
dude.
Dude, that would be.
Oh man.
The footage, I haven't really looked at it since then, but I just know that thing was shaky, dude.
Yeah.
I just know I was
I
like,
just know.
Uh-huh. So
oh my
what did you
goodness.
say to him? What was your interaction like?
I just said hi, I shook his hand. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I went back into the shadows and I started filming.
Sure,
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, because I
but
remember
it's
seeing
so hard, dude.
I remember seeing
Go
the
ahead.
video, the walkout, obviously, which
Hmm.
you were behind the scenes and doing that, but that was pretty crazy. Like
Mhm.
with Terence, rolling out with M was
Yeah.
pretty
There was
iconic.
like rumors, like, is he gonna do it? Is this gonna really happen?
Yeah.
You know, biggest boxer in the world, one of
Yeah.
the biggest artists in the world.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he was there, which like is so funny for us because we know Levi and we know like who he works with. So then in the back of my head, the whole time I'm just thinking, I just know Levi's talked to Eminem now. I just know that he's met him.
Yeah, they're best friends.
That's the
They-
funny part. It was like the hardest part was not freaking out about it because they told me like 2 weeks before.
Right.
I was like, I just had to keep my mouth shut, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But
Listen
that's
to
that's
every
also part of
Eminem
the
song.
job, especially like the athlete stuff. Like a lot of cool things will happen, but sometimes you gotta keep your mouth shut.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you could burn that trust pretty easy if you're like
Exactly.
posting on X, like, "Yo, I'm about to meet Eminem," and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I think it goes along with the serving others is like, these people, yeah, they have all the clout and they're, quote unquote famous, but there's still people doing their jobs
Right.
and you working alongside these people, you have to be professional or you wouldn't be in the position that you're at. And so, yeah, although, you get excited, you got to, stay composed, stay professional and do your job well, which I think you are doing. And so it's really cool. The opportunities you're getting and the content that's coming out of it is just wild. Like you're just killing it, man. We're super proud of you.
Yeah. There's
A lot of it stems from you guys.
Whatever.
there's a
Nah.
perspective. There's a perspective I want to address though, because now seeing the work that you do and the people that you work with, I think it can be easy for people to be like, well, yeah, if I was Jordan Burroughs' content dude or Bud Crawford's content dude, like I'd have plenty of stuff to shoot all the time and sick things to make. But I want to speak because I think you've like really remained true to this. I want to speak to like all the small events that you still go to. Like it's not just professional sports that you do. It's still like I remember, maybe I can't remember how long ago, but you were back in Nebraska and I was asking like what you were doing and you were trying to find either like a wrestling or a basketball tournament or something for like high schoolers. And I'm just like, that is the craziest thing that that you're working with like the best athletes in the world, but you still have this like desire to find these small events that you can go sharpen your skills at and then you can shoot because you miss shooting it. And so can you just speak to that a little bit? Because I think that's probably what got you to where you are now. But also why do you even continue to do that? It sounds bad. I was going to ask, why do you even bother? But what's your ongoing interest in shooting things when there's downtime with the big name athletes? Why go out and shoot like other small tournaments and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of hit it there a little bit, but it's just fun. It's fun. It's a fun way to sharpen skills and try new things out. Because yeah, with the big guys, there is like more pressure
Yeah.
to it. You know what I mean? Like you guys remember those wedding days? Like you miss the one shot, it's over. You can't really. It can be fun. It can be very fun days, but
Yeah.
that's like when you're locked in.
Yeah.
So that's like, and like photo and video has always been my hobby. Now that's my job. Like with these guys, now that's the job. It's like I gotta find ways to either find a new hobby or keep it my hobby still sometimes.
That's a
So,
great
that's
word.
That's a
Ooh.
nugget.
you gotta, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have
Preach
experienced
it.
this too.
That's so good, dude.
So it's tough because I don't want to lose it. I don't want to like lose photography being my hobby.
Yeah.
It's been a part of me for so long, and like honestly, I can't really do anything else So it's like I can't like write, I can't draw or paint or anything. So I bought this the little Fuji. I'm sure you guys have heard of
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I love
the
that
little
thing.
Fuji, but like even that, I started making little like short vlogs on it, like cinematic vlogs, and then like the edits I made from that transitioned over to like the edits, like that one edit I was talking about for Jordan, and I
Sick.
was like, okay, like a lot of things can come from the fun, and that's what I'm really
Yeah.
starting to look for. Like about 2-ish years now, I need to have fun again with the camera as
Yeah.
much as I can.
I have a question, kind of changing gears a little bit, but so obviously, like, you live in Philly, you have an apartment to pay for, you have food to eat. Like, as a business now, like, what does this look like? Like, are you on retainers with certain, with you talk to their agent, they agree upon like the season, and we're going to pay you X amount of dollars? Do they pay you monthly? Do they, and you can share as little or as much, but I'm just really curious. And I think for our listeners, just like, what does that look like as a creative now, full time, 2 years? Like, how are you eating? Like,
Yeah.
what does that look
Yeah.
like? Like, contractor, payroll,
Yeah.
whatever.
Your apartment looks nice, by the way.
I've Thanks.
good
Yeah,
job.
I'm moving soon, actually. I'm
Nice.
moving soon, into a more sustainable apartment. I got touching on that. I got to start saving some money. It was nice. It was nice being here for a couple of years, but now it's time to go. But yeah, like you're saying, you mentioned retainers. That's something I've talked to a couple older guys about too, and I agree with them. But like retainers will save your butt, especially if you're like a freelancer,
Yeah.
one person kind of thing. Because there's those slumps I was talking about usually also come along with like financial or client slumps,
Sure.
and it's kind of like at the same kind of the same rate. It's like, oh, it's like I haven't been hired externally apart from my retainers in a while. I'm like, I was like, oh, I'm bored.
Right.
So stuff like that, but mainly retainers. I'm on a retainer with JB, which is really a blessing, and he's like I said, he's like I think he's the best client I've had or will ever had, because now we've kind of just like developed this bond,
Yeah.
like this symbiotic bond to where we both good things happen on both sides. Like he's not a guy that's like, oh, you can only shoot for me. You can't shoot any other events except for my events, or no other athletes except for my athletes. Like last summer when I told him that I was going to shoot for Bud and his camp, he was probably the happiest person
Wow.
that
That's
I told,
awesome.
because he knew I like deserved that shot.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
So
incredible.
stuff like that, but retainers and then little freelance things here and there, but
Yeah.
retainers will save your butt for sure.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, there's several things to hit on there. I think first of all, like Jordan is the type of client that you want when
Yeah.
you're building a retainer relationship with somebody. Like
Yeah.
finding somebody that you see on the same page, you have similar values, you trust each other, you value each other, and somebody that type of relationship isn't going to be the jealous, you can't, if you have a client that is approaching you for a retainer and is putting those types of limitations, I would think twice potentially about that relationship,
sure.
because while retainers are great, I think they can also kind of shoot you in the foot.
Yeah. Oh,
And I
yeah.
think that's another thing you mentioned is like getting comfortable with retainers is something I've also seen maybe not be the best idea. Yes, retainers are awesome. It's consistent. It's income you can count on. But we just recently had a conversation with some friends that they do a lot of retainer work. And
Yeah.
in 2024, a lot of big companies are doing budget cuts. And it's like, if you kind of put all your eggs in that basket,
Yep.
sometimes it can come back to bite you in the butt. And so I think that's great that you're seeking other opportunities. I think preparing for those slumps, when the season ends or
Yeah.
when that retainer is expiring. And so I think it's important to diversify the types of clients that you serve and continue to try to go out and get new clients. Obviously, main priority is serving, don't bite the hand that feeds you,
Yeah.
serve the
Yes,
clients
exactly.
that are loyal to you and you're loyal to them first
Yeah.
and foremost.
Yeah.
But if you've got the time and energy to go out and prepare for those slumps, I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, like this summer, I'm basically dedicating my whole summer to like the three main guys that I really work for. You know, like I was just trying to plan it out yesterday. It's like I have like a week or so maybe downtime from like June 1st till the beginning of August.
Wow.
So it's yeah, like you said, like these guys, it's a unique relationship of like a client to like business because a lot of it has been torn down to where it's like almost friendship, which can be good and bad. So it's like a fine line I'm still trying to navigate.
Yeah.
But in terms of it all, it's been really good because these guys, I think you guys touched on it, but like we share the same values, even though I don't play or I don't play their sport. Can't say play boxing or play wrestling, but that's
Right.
what we use.
No, they ain't playing.
Even though I'm not a
They ain't
wrestler or a
playing.
boxer, we still have the same values.
Yeah.
Like these guys work hard. I like to work hard. These guys have a relationship with Jesus. I would like to think I have the same.
Yeah.
They're just like faith-based, work hard. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's such an easy concept to like
Yeah.
to grasp onto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So what are the kind of a nerdy question? What are the logistics like when you're, Jordan's like, hey, we got camp these dates and event this date. And then Bud's like, I got to fight this date and my camp's going to be in this location on these dates. And is that like, okay, figure out how to get yourself there? Or are they like handling that, basically telling you, hey, you're going to be here? Or what are the logistics of that look like?
It's a little bit of both. Like this, so like Jordan has a camp where he's teaching kids this summer, and it's like in the middle of camp but nothing's official yet. But I like lay things out and like, oh, if I leave here, I can be there for a week and then come back to camp with Terence this week, blah blah blah, and like things are intersecting and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff on my end, and that's something I've had to learn is just to be more manageable because like you got to wear a lot of different hats when you're in this game. You can't just be good at taking pictures or editing and stuff like that. If you want to be like a one-man crew, you got to do a lot of things by yourself. And I'm still learning, but
yeah. Are you getting yourself to these places? Like, are you booking your own flights or driving yourself, or do you travel like with the actual team to go do it?
it depends. It's a little bit of both. If it's drivable, like Jordan had a competition out at State College that's like 3.5 hours away a couple of months ago, and I just drove out there.
Okay.
With Bud, usually there's a lot of flying involved, and they have like a travel agency or something they work with. So usually they cover all that. I just like say what flights or what days work best. But
Okay.
yeah.
What do you, I'm just, another kind of nerdy question.
It's just so interesting.
Because this is how my brain works. Like, are there any like tools or softwares or things that you use that have been really helpful? Because you touched on like, it's not just about being good at taking photos.
Yeah.
It's also in essence time management.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of managing logistics and when and where you need to be places, but also finding the time to edit and find the time to dump photos and work on your own personal brand. Like, how does that all, is there anything that's been really helpful in that journey? Because I think that's a place a lot of creatives struggle is they're great at just like doing whatever, is the most pressing, but how do you kind of keep your time organized?
Yeah. It's great.
I tried using, I know there's a lot of great things out there. I tried using Notion and stuff like that. It didn't click with me. I mainly use Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Like Google Calendar is my baby. Like I just have like stuff like.
Okay. You just do time blocking.
That's what, time blocking. Cause like if I see, like I said yesterday, I was like, Trev, can you just send me like a Google invite?
Yeah.
That's what I live on. Cause if it's not in there, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So like sometimes when I'm like in a slump, I have to literally put edit 4-hour time block.
Yeah.
Just put it in there.
Right.
And like, it's almost like making a 9 to 5 for yourself. I think that's been the hardest part aside from financially, aside from creative slumps. It's the time management of being a freelance creative. It's rough because like I can wake up basically whenever I want on like, on camp days and stuff like that. Normal weeks like this, I can wake up whenever I want, edit whenever I want. So that's like a double-edged sword. It's a dangerous thing to have.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
I remember you talking about that I think it was the last time you were on, because you were still a student And so you were talking about the same time management and using calendars and things like that, just how important it was to juggle school and freelance work.
Yeah.
And now it's interesting that like those skills that you were forced to build because of that are now like elevating you to be able to deal with like some of the craziest logistics in the game, because you've got multiple athletes at the top of their sports that you're shooting for. You're dealing with, it's not just events locally to you now, it's flights and getting to the right spots and camps that are in different, states than the actual event that will take place. So it's just really neat to see that you identified why that was important, even 2 years ago. And now those skills have just sharpened and made you really good at something that that could be make or break to being able to keep up with this.
Yeah, it's funny. It takes a really unique person. It's easy to be like, oh, I wish I could film and take photos for Jordan Burroughs or for Terence Bug Crawford. I wish, Levi gets to do that. I wish from the outside looking in, but they don't see the waking up at 3 a.m. They don't see the managing your calendar and making sure that everything's, they don't see the tight deadlines and edits that need to be posted to promote certain events. They don't see the grinding. I think the last time I saw you, bro, like you just looked tired. Like when you were in Omaha, like, bro, you were like, I was like, hey, bro, are you good? Like, can I pray?
No, I
was like, bro, yeah, because you came to our church. Yeah, you came and visited.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, can I pray for you? Because I just feel like I wanted to just hug you. Like you had been grinding. It was a crazy season. It was, tons of fights and a lot of stuff, going on. But people don't see that side. They just see the cool posts that got, hundreds of thousands of likes and all this stuff. So it's funny to think, just that perspective. It takes a very unique individual to be able to do what you do, and it's just awesome. We commend you and just celebrate it, and just so awesome.
Forgot about that, dude.
Yeah, bro.
I think that was after the big season last year, after Terence Crawford's big fight, because I was in Omaha for a reason. I think that was because of his parade.
Yes, the parade. Yep.
Yeah. So I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was exhausted after that.
Yeah, dude.
So I have a follow-up question on that. Obviously, and we can get into encouragement time, I think, after this, but obviously there's seasons for everything. There's seasons of grind. There's seasons of rest. At that moment, you were in a season of grind, and it's okay to be a little worn down and a little battle bruised and scarred during those seasons. I would just love to hear, because I think it's important for the people listening, and we've talked about this before. What are you doing in those seasons of rest that aren't necessarily the grind season to
recharge?
First of all, just rest and recharge. Maybe grow, whatever that looks like for you. Just kind of walk us through. Do you have some nighttime routines you like, or skincare regimens, or
just invite.
No, it could be anything, but just tell us, and maybe you don't have an answer for it, but I'm just curious. You go through very intense seasons of grinds where you're on flights all the time and you're going everywhere. What are you doing when you're home in between those seasons?
The best part is the art of doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Teach
excellent.
us.
No schedules, no routines. Just sometimes I just go to bed, wake up at 1 p.m., eat something, go back to bed, watch Netflix. And sometimes I do that for about a week, and then I leave my house and I start being a human again. I know it's different for some people, but for me, I just need a box. I just need to be confined and just literally lay there, and then I'll be fine again later. People are like, "Oh man, are you?" It's you're depressed. I'm like, no, I'm resting. I swear. I swear. I'm
resting.
I'll be better the next time you see me. Once I get a haircut, shower up, stuff like that.
Right.
But doing nothing is a skill that I've had to learn.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm always I feel like I'm always antsy. I have to film, I have to edit.
Yep.
I have to do this. I have to do more.
Yeah.
Literally doing nothing has been a cold turkey. Just don't do anything for a day or two. Literally don't. The hardest part is not looking at social media, but don't pick up your camera. Don't edit anything for a little bit. Just just rest.
Yeah.
It can be really tough, like you're saying.
Yeah. I think it's important for everybody to figure out what that is for them. Cause like you said, it's different for everybody. And so that's great that you've kind of found that routine of like, I'm gonna just go be a hermit for a few days and I'll be all right. You know, I'll come out and take a shower and get a haircut and I'm back and ready to get out into the world. And so, I just wanted to touch on that because I think that's important. And I feel you on that. I have a really hard time with just being still, even if I know like I can. It's like I feel like it's like FOMO of progression. It's like I feel like I'm scared of missing out on a growth opportunity or an income opportunity or something like that. But I mean the Bible is pretty clear on a Sabbath, and so taking that and applying it to our work life I think is really important. So awesome. Well, Levi, this is the segment of the episode where you have the honor and privilege of giving our listeners some encouragement.
Ooh, let's go. Bray, hit it.
Encouragement.
Hit it.
First try.
That's nice.
Take it away, Levi. What you got for us?
Ooh. Listen, if I can do what I can do, you can do it too. Trust me. Trust me, man. There's nothing externally special that I do. I'm a very normal person. I love what I do. Like I wouldn't trade anything I do now for anything else. Like someone was asking me, it's like, what if you didn't do photography, what would you do? I'm like, I don't know, dude. This is the only thing I'm really good at now at this point. But I've just dedicated so much of my like mindset and my time and myself into this kind of work that like this is all I do, basically. You have to be obsessed. You got to be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a couple younger people, probably around the same age I was when I was on the podcast with you guys first. They're like, oh, like I want to go to a bigger school after I graduate high school. It's like, I want to go to a D1 school, make D1 content. Brother, I went to an NIAI, or I don't even know how to say it. I went to a super small school in Lincoln, Nebraska. We had 800 kids. Our sports programs were not the best. I still showed up to some basketball and soccer games, took pictures, tried to get better. But if I went to that school and like you go to a place like UNL or Duke or something like that, and you're worried about making it, it's all up to you. Because I almost transferred to UNL my sophomore year. I didn't end up going because I liked my friends at Union, but it's always like that FOMO kind of thing. It's like, oh, like what if I went here? What if I went here? I can make so much cooler stuff. That's all up to you. You can make cool stuff. You can make cool stuff anywhere.
Wow,
I mean, people probably say that to us when they hear that we're from Nebraska. I was just telling another person, like, oh yeah, before Philly, I lived in Nebraska. They're like, Nebraska? What's in there? Like, what's in there is like the greatest creative. Like that's like the greatest creative community in the world, bro. That's what's in Nebraska. I tell them straight up.
That's right.
But that's it.
I love it.
If I can do it, you can do it. That's what I like to tell
Amen,
people.
brother.
Amen. That's great.
Don't let your circumstances or your location dictate
Yeah.
how much you think you can achieve or what you can do. That's awesome.
Amen. I love that. Nebraska. What's in there?
What's in there?
What's in there?
What's in there,
I just
bro?
see an angry Philly person like you say Nebraska and they just get angry at you for it.
Yeah.
That should be our new slogan.
Maybe it's better
What's
than
in
it.
there?
You see the sign on the bridge, Nebraska. What's in there?
What's in there?
Honestly, it's kind of cool because it gets you like, man, I kind of want to go there. I bet there's some fire stuff in Nebraska.
What is in there?
Yeah, what is in there? I'm gonna drive through and like check it out.
Yeah.
Stop, maybe make a couple stops.
Yeah.
All right,
People get freaked out, man, when I say that.
What?
Oh, you probably got a lot of pictures of cornfields, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a Filipino kid, so they're even more confused. They're like, what is this guy doing in the Midwest? Hey, I tell them like, if you haven't gone, at least go to Omaha or something. I tell that to everybody. I mean,
at
here
least.
in Philly. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
you gotta go.
I love it. Yeah, dude, Nebraska rocks. We love it. We talk to creatives all the time that, you know, just like you said, like at least utilize the space and where you're at and where God put you. flourish. You don't have to move to these big cities to, quote unquote, make it. And it depends on what you're trying to do. But what we're trying to do is, put Nebraska on the map. We're going to help people see what's in there. You know what I'm saying?
What's in there?
All right. This next segment that we're jumping into, it's a newer segment and we're really stoked on it, but it's pretty much just a project highlight. So we'll usually dive into something that we've been working on and really passionate about, something that's really unique and exciting. So Levi, since you're our guest today, I would love a project highlight from you. Something that you're currently working on, or something that's maybe to come, or maybe something that you just worked on that's just really just different, unique, something that's really, really fun. So if you want to dive in to a project highlight, that would be amazing.
It's got to be that Jordan Burroughs video I was telling you guys about. I gotta send you guys like the screen recording I did of like the layers and stuff like that.
Oh,
the
yeah.
best part is I made that thing on CapCut.
No.
I made that best piece of work I've done on CapCut.
Let's
bro.
go.
Wow.
See, there's no excuse.
On,
there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
Wow.
Bro, that's...
We'll have to put the link.
CapCut is amazing.
CapCut
is amazing.
Can we link that video in the description of the podcast? Is that possible? Or is it like, okay,
yeah.
So
I think so.
Check out the description.
Maybe,
and you can get the link there. We'll have to have you shoot it over to us. But
dude, CapCut's amazing. So like breaking that down, I usually still edit on Final Cut if it's like longer, more professional, no effects kind of, projects. But for like those highlighty kind of Instagram reel stuff, I do a lot of it on CapCut nowadays. They have a ton of effects that you don't need to download. Those gonna start sound like an ad.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
hop on board.
Yeah.
For $8.99 a month, you get blah blah blah. No, it's really cool. They always update effects. They always update stuff monthly. So there's always new transitions and effects that you can use. But for that one, I was really excited about it because it's probably one of the first and only videos that I've done that I started off with the music.
Okay.
So like the guy, the inspiration I took it from, he used a recent song from I think Future. But when I listened to it, he didn't take it straight up. He like cut it up into pieces. So he took like a little bit of the intro, and then he did a cool like sound transition to like mask the cut to the next beat, which was like a minute and to whatever like the video later on. So that's something I had to figure out on my end. It's like how did he do that? Because I thought it was just one song into it. I know you guys do this too because you have like music background. So you guys talked about like finding like a G major song with another G. I don't know.
No, you're saying it right.
That's something I had to really learn is like to break down the music, and that's my favorite part of it. It's like sometimes I just turn it on, close my eyes, and just like listen to the beat. I had like what's it called, commentary from like previous matches, like, oh, Jordan Burroughs, an Olympic champion. And the beat drops.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like the world building like in your ears, and that's something that I never really like fully dove into until this video, and now that's something I'm trying to do. Like I lost track of how many like whooshes and risers and stuff that I've used, but that's something I've always seen in like basketball, football edits, and that's something I've always been jealous of. But it was a lot in the sound design. I was like, how did they make it look so cool, look so cinematic? And I'm like, I get similar shots, but my videos don't look like this. But it's like, it's the sound. It's like
so important.
The experience, dude. But you guys gotta go watch it. I'm so proud of that piece of work. But I started with the layer of music, cut it to how I wanted to, and I found sound effects that I knew I would use, like sounds of the city, walking, punches. I don't know. There was a bunch of different things, risers, and then I layered on the footage. And then the best part about CapCut, I think, is they have so many different like visual effects and filters, but they're basically like LUTs in the program already, and you can stack it on top of each other to make like a nice look. And that's a look that I've been trying to achieve for a long time. It's like a yellow green vintage type of look. And I was finally able to achieve it then. And then they have if you guys ever dive into it, you guys know like those filters that you put on the cameras that make it like the Cine Bloom.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't have one, so I have to like fake it in post.
Yeah.
In CapCut, and they have like a feature that can kind of do that.
Nice.
But
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm sold.
Are you in app or are you on desktop?
Desktop. They have a desktop version.
Oh wow.
Okay.
And it's cool because it looks like a normal editor. They've done a lot of good work on it, but it kind of reminds me of Adobe, just a little more manageable though.
Sure.
But it's cool that you can stack stuff up really, really neatly.
Yeah,
That's
you ought to
sick.
go after a sponsorship, bro. I mean,
Yeah, you should.
you got a video that's got some eyes on it.
Everyone, they gotta use CapCut.
Yeah.
for some
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
For some things.
Yeah.
We just switched to Resolve 6 months ago, and I'm like, man, did we make the wrong choice? No, I'm just kidding.
Should we have gone to CapCut?
For the videos,
Resolve's
we do,
good.
it's a little different.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would definitely try it for something for sure. And I
Yeah,
think for
seems
that
cool.
for that type of video, it seems to
Yeah,
be.
we have it for
Yeah.
church because it does auto captioning, which is really nice. So like
Yes.
when pastor's
That's
preaching
true.
and they just run it through CapCut. I think it's like $8 a month or something. We just moved to that because it just makes that whole like downloading or shooting the reel and then just putting it in CapCut makes it so much easier and manageable. And yeah, they've updated it a ton. I heard it from my 13-year-old brother-in-law like a couple years ago, and he's like,
Yeah.
I made some YouTube, like just random videos of him, like his baseball cards, like just silly videos, but it has like effects on it. And he was all hyped. He got like 1,000 views on one and was like, yo, I made this in CapCut. Because I think it shows CapCut's logo at the end if you have the free account.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet.
And he
Yes.
was
Which
so
you can
hyped.
take that off actually, at least in
In the
app.
free-
Yeah,
in the free
even
account?
in the free one.
Oh, wow.
On my phone.
Bro,
Now you
that's
can. Now you
that's
can, yeah.
that's legit. So yeah, that's all I heard. And then now it's like all these updates and yeah, now apparently they're killing it because Levy B stamping approval on it right now.
Sick.
It's so good. But it goes a little bit to the encouragement time. Like, bro, you can use whatever you
Yeah.
use whatever
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
Don't
Use
limit
whatever
yourself.
you have. Because like with the whole Da Vinci thing too, I was like, oh man, should I switch to Da Vinci? But like
Yes.
I don't need to switch to Da Vinci. I really did not. I wanted to for the longest time because that's when everyone was transitioning into it.
For sure.
I was like, that doesn't make sense for me. But
Yeah.
Yep.
use
Yeah.
what you can.
I think the coolest thing is like you not having a musical background, or at least I would assume not.
Not really. I sucked at
So
any
like,
instrument I tried to play.
but you figured it out. Like you were talking about,
Yeah,
beat matching and cutting multiple segments of a song, which is something that we've done, forever. And it just it comes a little bit more naturally because of our music background. But again, it's like you figuring out how to overcome that obstacle of maybe not knowing how to do that, but you figured it out. And I'm sure it's awesome. And I can't wait to watch the video. So kudos to you. Thanks for sharing. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that video.
Yeah. Link in description.
Link in description.
Well, Mr. Levy, as we kind of wind down our episode to a close, is there anything else? Is there anything you wished we'd asked you about, or anything else that you feel like sharing? Anything we missed?
I don't know. I wish I rewatched the old one just to see what we talked about back then, what we talked about or could talk about now. But I feel like we covered a lot of it.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of growth the last 2 years. If you're still in school and you're waiting to finally be out and to work, I would say enjoy your last couple of years of college or enjoy college period. Cause like the last year-ish, I think when you guys saw me, I was ready to get out of there. But at this point of my life, I'm like, dang, I miss my friends. Like, I wish I was still in Omaha or in Lincoln. I was like, I wish all this and stuff. So like, I would say enjoy your experiences as much as you can. Cause when it's time to work, you're going to work. You're going to work. You guys know that from like when you started up Glory Visuals, like you're going to work until where you guys are now, which is freaking amazing. 6 years in, 5 years in,
6 years.
6 years in, you guys are in a very awesome place to where hopefully you're not as stressed as you were back on year one of Glory Visuals.
Oh yeah. Not even close.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Goodbye. No, yeah, appreciate you being on the pod. It's super awesome to catch up. We love you. Again, we're your biggest cheerleaders from Omaha, Nebraska.
That's
and just hit us up when you're back in town because we love seeing your beautiful face. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you're notified every single time that we be dropping these pods.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just thank you so much for the ratings and the feedback that we get. Leave comments. Let us know what you liked about the episode. Let us know what we should talk about in a future episode because your feedback means a lot to us.
Yeah, you can follow along with what we're doing on Instagram at the Glory Boys Pod, TikTok at the Glory Boys Podcast. Let's see, we have a Facebook page, just a general page. We're on LinkedIn, so really you could find us anywhere. We'll post full episodes, we'll post clips, and then we'll also add some other value to you. Really quick, Levi, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram, leviventura.media. Don't find me on TikTok, please. Just Instagram, not my YouTube either. I have really old stuff on.
Cool. Instagram, you got it.
Just Instagram.
Awesome. And lastly, if you want to join our Facebook group, it is called Thinking Bitter. It's called Thinking Bigger with Creative Entrepreneurs. This group is really our hope for it. It's pretty new, but our hope is that we're building a community of creatives that, want to ask questions, get insights. We'll post the podcast episodes there. Eventually, maybe do some live Q&As, things like that. Tons of things that we want to do to add more value and to help you think bigger. But that's it for this episode. Thank you so much again, Levi, for taking the time to be on with us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We love you. And we love all of you that are watching this right now or listening to it on audio, whatever that may be. We love you guys, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
See ya.
Bye.